in an upcoming opportunity to show the world where he stands as a champion in the sport of boxing, Shakur Stevenson is looking to put together possibly 3 fights in 2025. As he has stated, he has his own little hit list of fighters that he's looking to face. And there is an opportunity for him to pull that together. All he needs is for the opponents to step up and be ready to face him in that manner. But will they? And does he have a plan B in the event that said opponents do not cooperate with him? Let's talk about his slightly adjusted hit list and what may be next in 2025 for Shakur Stevenson. On Monday, January 13th, there was a press conference for an upcoming fight, February 22nd, the rematch, Beterbiev versus Bivol 2 from Saudi, Riyadh season event where Artur and Dmitry will face each other again in a rematch for Undisputed. But this card is highlighted with so much talent. Many people are referring to this as one of boxing's greatest cards ever, if not the greatest. You will have had to been around a while to have comparative notes, but that's not what we're here to talk about. What we're here to talk about today is the fact that there is a fight on the undercard where we're going to see a champion come to light and possibly bring out the star-studded talent that he has. And that'll be Shakur Stevenson. Now, since signing with Matchroom Boxing, Stevenson has yet to find a fight where he can showcase his abilities and talents. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom originally sought to match him on the original Beterbiev-Bivol match back in October of 2024. A hand injury kept him out of that fight, and he was then scheduled to face William Zepeda after he healed from his hand surgery. But that fell apart when Zepeda didn't end up facing his opponent in Tevin Farmer with the most positive of outcomes. Though he won the fight, he was dropped and looked shaky. So he and his people have said, hey, we're going to step back for a moment. They're not ready for Shakur, even though that's not the reason that they gave for canceling the fight. So Hearn still pressed to find a proper opponent for Shakur, and on February 22nd, the opponent that he will face is someone that many people didn't see coming. It'll be Floyd Schofield. Now, Floyd Schofield is a fighter that's a young, up-and-coming lightweight who is being promoted by Golden Boy and has somewhat of an upside to his career, but he hasn't had the type of experience professionally that will really make someone say this is a great opportunity for someone to test Shakur Stevenson. Now, Schofield is only 22 years of age. Shakur is 27. But when Shakur was 22, people marveled at his talent and ability. Now, no one's saying that Floyd Schofield has Shakur-type talent. However, with his record of 18-0, he and his people feel that he's ready. The 12 KOs that are on his record haven't come against the biggest names, but understand that the opponent is facing a champion in Shakur who only has 10 KOs in 22 fights. So, a difference in styles could make for something. But as we were saying, Shakur has a hit list for this year. And with the Schofield fight scheduled for February 22nd, the next possible person on the list is someone that's been around a while, been out of the ring for a while, and someone that Shakur always felt that he might get a chance to test his wares against, even though they worked in the gym together. And that would be Vasyl Lomachenko. Lomachenko has been sort of away from the sport since dropping a decision to Devin Haney back in 2023. But Lomachenko is also undecided whether or not he's going to resume his career or he's going to walk off into the sunset. There's still opportunity there, but the young guns are coming on strong. And with someone like Vasyl Lomachenko, it would really boost Shakur's brand to have a fight with him and be victorious, where he could take some of that luster from the boxing community with a said victory over Vasyl Lomachenko. And the other fighter that Shakur is looking at that he feels could really help his legacy as he moves forward would be Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, this fight is a fight that many people thought could actually take place or get made toward that fourth quarter of 2024, when Gervonta originally had reached out to Lomachenko for an opportunity, who responded he didn't feel like fighting Tank Davis at this time. After all the years of running after Tank, when Tank finally said he's ready to fight Vasyl wasn't ready to consider Tank. But Shakur is there, and Shakur says Lomachenko, then Tank, according to a Boxing News 24 article. And he says he wants to fight in 2025 after his match against Kid Austin. He says, not very confident. I think he's scared, when he said how confident he is of getting a fight against Lomachenko. He said, I sparred him a while back, and I think he's been scared ever since. They would definitely get in the way too. So my hopes are very low when Shakur was asked whether Top Rank would get in the way of a fight between he and Lomachenko. He says, with Turkey, I think he can make a lot of things happen. Hopefully he can make this happen. The article where Shakur is speaking on this fight, the link will be in the description box. But as he goes forward to speak, he says, Zepeda, he's a good fighter, says Stevenson when asked who would be his second fight in 2025 if he can't get Lomachenko. He says, I would love to beat him up too. He's been running for me for a minute, so I'm kind of skeptical about that fight too. The article goes on. It says that I don't know why Shakur mentions Lomachenko's name other than to gain clout. He's already made it clear that he's not interested in fighting a runner, especially one with no fan base outside of his hometown of Newark. If Loma does fight again, it'll likely be against Gervonta Davis because that's the biggest payday that he can get. He won't waste time on Shakur, who isn't an attraction and doesn't come to fight. Now see, this article is very angled, written by Robbie Bannatyne, and I have read this man's articles before, and I don't agree with how he presents speaking on the fighters. But Shakur is not a runner. He's a boxer, a pure boxer, a lot like Vasyl Lomachenko, except for he's younger, more talented, more athletic. Vasyl still has the ability to be elusive. He has quick hands, doesn't have a lot of power, but he's shorter on the athletic department. And see, when a fighter like Vasyl or someone of that ethnicity can perform the way they do, they are often showered with praise for their abilities. But when someone like Shakur does it, or you can take someone, when you think about Guillermo Rigondeaux or fighters like that, who can box, move, be elusive, have punching power, have hand speed, foot speed, ring IQ. They're not showered and praised because that's a standard bearing that other fighters do not actually measure up to very often. Now, as this article goes on, the author of the article says that Shakur's popularity is based on his adoption of the villain role, but he's not entertaining to watch and never will be. His whole thing is to use the old Mayweather hit and not get hit style, not take risks, and win rounds by landing a small number of pot shots. Stevenson doesn't throw many punches because he focuses on defense 90% of the time and is escaping after throwing a single shot. It isn't a more biased opinion than Mr. Bannatyne. Now, my thoughts on Shakur and he being able to face these other fighters happens to run along the lines of he offers something that the average fighter doesn't offer, and that happens to be ring IQ to match his physical prowess and talents. He also has the ability to bring technical aspects to a match that could be exciting when he's facing an opponent that's talented enough to challenge him. With his former Olympic experience, Shakur has something that a lot of fighters don't have. And that Olympic experience, which means amateur experience, is something that they like to praise Lomachenko for having. You see, you can't have it both ways. You can't be biased against one and show praise of another unless you are honestly being prejudiced against a certain entity. But this is not something that I am here to either hold the support of or be negative against. I'm reporting on the fact that Shakur Stevenson is looking forward to face some of the most talent in the division that he can before the end of 2025. I can't say that the men whose names he had named in this article are willing to think of him and consider him in the same regard for the year of 2025. And that's where you have to honestly assess where boxing is, because Shakur, though he's with Matchroom now and is going to fight on a Riyadh season card, that means he's going to be fighting against some of the best fighters that Turki Al-Sheikh can put together for him. And if the likes of Davis, Lomachenko, even Schofield, who's scheduled, aren't up to snuff, then it's going to remain to be seen what will be next. But at the end of the day, someone will step forward, and Shakur will as well, and he'll get the opportunity to prove himself. And that's all he really wants to do. He's proclaimed himself to be the best pure boxer in the sport. And one of these days, sooner or later, someone's going to give him the opportunity to prove that. But will it be on February 22nd with Schofield? You know, the Schofields missed the press conference on January 13th. Something about passport issues or rumored, I don't know. However, to miss the the leadoff presser was not a good deal. And for someone who had professed that he really wanted this fight bad, he should have been there. But hopefully Schofield will show up and the fight will take place, and we'll get a chance to see where Shakur's place is in the lightweight division. But what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know your thoughts about Shakur Stevenson and how his hit list of 2025 is shaping up in your mind. Leave thoughts and let's discuss further. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.